Welcome to the H-Files. I am Mr. Anda, and today's story has captivated the imaginations of people worldwide. It is the chilling account of Flight 19's vanishing within the mysterious Bermuda Triangle. In this video, you will hear the actual transcripts between Flight 19 and everyone else involved. But before we delve into this enigma, please take a moment to hit that like and subscribe button. If you have a topic you're eager to learn more about, share it in the comments and I'll cover it. Now let's uncover the secrets of Flight 19 and the infamous Bermuda Triangle. On the fateful morning of Wednesday, December 5th, 1945, the atmosphere at Naval Air Station, NAS for short, in Fort Lauderdale, was charged with anticipation as it was training day for Navigation Problem 1 bombing mission. Lieutenant Charles C. Taylor, a battle-hardened pilot from the Pacific Theater of World War II, arrived late. Seeking out the aviation duty officer, Lieutenant Arthur Curtis, Taylor, who was scheduled to lead the training bombing run known as Flight 19, made a desperate plea to be excused from flying that afternoon. When pressed for a reason, he refused to divulge the cause of his distress. Despite the intensity of his plea, his request was met with a resounding denial, setting the stage for a foreboding turn of events. At 2 in the afternoon, the brave crew of Flight 19 stood ready, their hearts pounding as they prepared for takeoff. Gathered on the airstrip under Lieutenant Taylor's Avenger, marked FT-28, they felt a surge of excitement and nervous anticipation. They knew they were about to embark on a 3-hour bombing practice run known as Navigation Problem 1. But they were in very capable hands under the leadership of Lieutenant Taylor, a seasoned combat fighter pilot who had completed a tour of duty in the Pacific and had well over 2,000 hours of flight time in the Avenger. At 2:10 in the afternoon, the 14 men of Flight 19 took off from the airfield, ready to complete their practice bombing run. Their orders were precise. They were to depart from 26 degrees 03 minutes north, 80 degrees 07 minutes west, and fly 091 degrees for a total distance of 56 miles to Hen and Chicken Shoals. There, they were to conduct low-level bombing on a wrecked ship. After the bombing, they were to continue on course 091 degrees for a total of 67 miles, then fly course 346 degrees for a total distance of 73 miles. Finally, they were to turn to fly course 241 degrees for a total distance of 120 miles, returning to Naval Air Station, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. This was their plan, but what happened next would defy all expectations. The 5 Avengers aircraft were found to be missing clocks, and there was no clear explanation for their absence. The assumption was that each pilot would wear a watch, but having a clock readily accessible was crucial for the type of training they were about to undergo. This training, called Dead Reckoning, relies on having a clock for navigation during flight. Dead Reckoning involves using the formula distance equals speed times time to determine position. With the necessary data and this fundamental formula, pilots could accurately calculate their distance traveled, speed, time in transit, and, most importantly, pinpoint their location. Without a clock, the pilots would be unable to establish their precise location. The question of whether any of the pilots, radio men, or gunners aboard any of the 5 planes had a watch on remains unanswered. One would assume that at least one of the men would have been wearing one, but based on their conversations, it seems they either didn't have one or failed to use it, which goes against their training. Nevertheless, Flight 19 reached Hen and Chicken Shoals at around 2:35 p.m., and the crew successfully dropped their practice bombs. However, as they turned north to continue their journey, a mysterious and unsettling turn of events unfolded, setting the stage for a dramatic and mystifying story that would capture the imagination of hundreds of thousands of folks and still remains a mystery to this day. Within about 20 minutes of leaving the Hen and Chicken Shoals and heading north, both of Captain Taylor's compasses began moving abnormally. He believed that Flight 19 was heading in the wrong direction. He took control as their instructor and began to fly them in what he believed was north. Within another 10 minutes, Both of his compasses began to spin wildly, and he knew they were in trouble. It was a moment of pure dread as he realized they could be lost at sea, with no sense of direction. He then called over the radio to Flight 19's Captain Powers. And now, my friends, the situation takes a turn for the worse. Instead of me continuing to narrate their story, I've decided to let them speak for themselves. What you are about to hear are the actual radio transmission transcripts from Flight 19, a Navy flight in the air with the call sign Flight 74, as well as all the Navy control towers along the coast of Florida. I will interject from time to time to provide additional context.
I don't know where we are. We must have got lost after that last turn.
In the midst of this tumultuous time, Lieutenant Robert F. Cox, a senior flight instructor in the Navy, found himself airborne, a silent witness to the unfolding tragedy of Flight 19. Though not a part of the ill-fated flight, he intercepted Lieutenant Taylor's distressing message. With a sense of urgency, Lieutenant Cox took on the weighty responsibility of relaying this crucial communication back to base at Fort Lauderdale. The air crackled with tension as Lieutenant Cox battled against time and the unknown, his efforts serving as a fleeting lifeline amidst the swirling enigma that had enveloped Flight 19.
Foxterre 74, Foxterre 74 to Nan, how able one. Nan, how able one. There seems to be either a boat or plane lost and is calling Powers. Suggest you inform Tower of it. Over.
Nan, how able one. Roger.
This is Foxterre 74. Plane or boat calling Powers. Please identify yourself so someone can help you.
Nan, how able one to FT-74. Tower asks if they have any recognition or identification. Do they have any recognition?
Negative. Not as yet known.
As Lieutenant Cox and the tower discussed the mysterious transmitter, Lieutenant Taylor's voice abruptly broke over the receiver.
Does anyone have any suggestions? I think we must be over the Keys.
This is FT-74, calling lost plane or boat. Please identify yourself. Over.
Roger, this is MT-28.
MT-28, this is FT-74. What is your trouble?
Both my compasses are out, and I am trying to find Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I am over land, but it's broken. I'm sure I'm in the Keys. But I don't know how far down, and I don't know how to get to Fort Lauderdale.
MT-28, this is FT-74. Put the sun on your port wing if you are in the Keys and fly up the coast until you get to Miami. Then Fort Lauderdale is 20 miles further. Your first port after Miami. The air station is directly on your left from the port. What is your present altitude? I will fly south and meet you.
I know where I am at now. I'm at 23,000 feet. Don't come after me.
MT-28, Roger. I'm coming up to meet you anyhow.
FT-74, this is Nan, how able one. Is the call sign of your contact MT-28 or FT-28?
MT-28, this is FT-74. Please verify. Are you MT-28 or FT-28? Over.
Roger, that's FT-28. FT-74, can you have Miami or someone turn on their radar gear and pick us up? We don't seem to be getting far. We were out on a navigational hop, and on the second leg, I thought they were going wrong, so I took over and was flying them back to the right position. But I'm sure now that neither one of my compasses are working.
FT-28, you can't expect to get here in 10 minutes. You have a 30 to 35 knot head or cross wind. Turn on your emergency IFF gear, or do you have it on?
Negative.
Nan, how able one. This is FT-74. Flight of 5 planes leader is FT-28. He has his emergency IFF equipment on. Requests if he can be picked up on Fort Lauderdale radar gear.
FT-74, Nan, how able one. Negative. He cannot be picked up on Fort Lauderdale radar gear.
Roger. Stand by. FT-28, this is FT-74. Turn on your ZBX, FT-28. Do you read? Turn on your ZBX.
Okay, we are starting to hear some military terms that might be unfamiliar, like IFF or ZBX. Let me explain briefly so you will know what those mean. IFF stands for Identification, Friend, or Foe. It is a radio system that allows aircraft to identify themselves to friendly forces and avoid being mistaken for enemy planes. It also serves as a way to get a radar fix on your location. ZBX was a receiver on the Avenger planes that helped pilots to accurately determine their position and navigate safely based on signals Navy radio towers sent out.
FT-74, this is Man How Able 1. Tell FT-28 to have a pilot with a good compass take over lead. Over.
Roger. FT-28, this is FT-74. Have a wingman with a good compass take over lead of flight. Over. FT-28, your transmissions are fading. Something is wrong. What is your altitude?
I am at 4,500 feet.
Man How Able 1, this is FT-74. He is now on a new heading. Angles 4.5 and climbing.
As the minutes pass by, the weather has been getting worse. In response, Lieutenant Taylor has decided to increase Flight 19's altitude to 4,500 feet. This adjustment is likely aimed at avoiding turbulence and improving their chances of spotting land. Additionally, the Air Traffic Control Tower at NAS Port Everglades has now stepped in to provide support and aid in the search for Flight 19.
Man How Able 3 to FT-28, this is the time for all good men to come to the aid of their country. Can you read us? Affirmative. We have just passed over Small Island. We have no other land in sight. Visibility is 10 to 12 miles. I am at angles 3.5. Have on emergency IFF. Does anybody in the area have a radar screen that could pick us up? FT-28, this is Man How Able 3. Suggest you have another plane in your flight with a good compass. Take over the lead and guide you back to the mainland. Roger. If we would just fly west, we would get home.
God damn it. If we would just fly west, we would get home.
FT-28 to Man How Able 3. One of the planes in the flight thinks if we went 270, we could hit land. We went out on a heading of 120. On the second leg of the hop, I took over because I thought they were going wrong. But now I know it's my compasses that were wrong. Man How Able 3 to FT-28. Do you have a YG disc for homing DF?
The YG disc is a ground-based radio homing beacon specially designed to emit a unique Morse code letter for every 30-degree sector, with the center sector precisely oriented to true north. The term homing DF stands for Homing Direction Finder, which enables pilots to utilize the beacon's signal in aligning their aircraft. This innovative system provides pilots with the capability to make exact and real-time course corrections during flight.
All Gulf CF, HSD, monitor 4805, for plane FT-28, plane lost on East Coast, Florida.
Roger.
Roger. Roger.
If you hear him or FT-74, alert the net.
FT-28 to Man How Able 3. We are heading 030 for 45 minutes. Then we will fly north to make sure we are not over the Gulf of Mexico. Man How Able 3 to FT-28. Please turn on your ZBX. Repeat, turn on ZBX. Over. Man How Able 3 to FT-28. Please turn on your ZBX. Repeat, please turn on ZBX. Man How Able 3 to any Foxterra in flight with Foxterra 28. Turn on your ZBX. Over. All planes in this flight join up in close formation. How long have we gone now? Let's turn and fly east 2 degrees. We are going too damn far north instead of east. If there is anything, we wouldn't see it. FT-28 to all planes in flight, change course to 090 for 10 minutes. You didn't get far enough east. How long have we been going east? Hello, Man How Able 3. This is FT-28. Do you read? Over. Roger, this is Man How Able 3. Go ahead. I receive you very weak. We are now flying 270. Roger. We will fly 270 until we hit the beach or run out of gas. Planes fly close formation. When first man gets down to 10 gallons of gas, we will all land in the water together. Does everyone understand that? Man How Able 3 to FT-28. If you can change to yellow band 3,000 kilocycles, please do so and give us a call. Man How Able 3. This is Foxterra 28. And this is Man How Able 3. Shift to 3,000 kilocycles.
I cannot fathom how worried Lieutenant Taylor and the rest of Flight 19 must have been. They were running dangerously low on fuel, with no clue about their location. Yet, you could sense Lieutenant Taylor's intense focus as he grappled with the situation. The weather was deteriorating rapidly in Flight 19's vicinity. If he could only pinpoint the storm's location, he might be able to determine his own whereabouts.
I receive you very weak. How is weather over Lauderdale?
FT-28, this is Man How Able 3. Weather over Lauderdale clear. Over Key West KVU. Over the Bahamas cloudy, rather low ceiling, poor visibility.
Is that a ship on the left? I don't know, everything looks strange. It looks like it comes from outer space.
That last transmission was a real head-scratcher, wasn't it? But let's set that aside for a moment and focus on what Lieutenant Taylor was trying to do. He had just been informed that the weather at Fort Lauderdale and Key West was clear, but there was a storm brewing over the Bahamas. This information should have given him a clue about his location, and perhaps it did. It seems like the next few questions were aimed at calculating how far he was from Fort Lauderdale. If his signal were getting weaker, it would mean he was flying away from their base. Similarly, if it were getting stronger, it would mean they were flying in the right direction. The tension was palpable as they tried to determine their position amidst the gathering storm.
Man How Able 3, can you hear me?
I hear you, Strength 3, modulation good. Man How Able 3 to FT-28. Can you shift to 3,000 kilocycles over? FT-28, please change to 3,000 kilocycles. Shift to 3,000 KC, yes, over.
Man How Able 3, how do you read?
Very weak. Change to 3,000 kilocycles.
Hello, Man How Able 3, this is FT-28. I can hear you very faintly. My transmission is getting weaker.
Change to yellow band channel 1, 3,000 kilocycles, and give us a call.
My transmission is getting weaker.
Change to yellow band 3,000 kilocycles and say words twice when answering. Man How Able 3 to FT-28, did you receive my last transmission? Change to channel 1, 3,000 kilocycles.
Repeat once again.
Change to channel 1, 3,000 kilocycles.
Negative. I cannot change frequency. I must keep my planes intact. We may have to ditch any minute. Hello, Powers, do you read me? Hello, Powers, this is Taylor. Do you read me? Over. Roger. I read you. Hello, Powers. I have been trying to reach you. I thought you were calling base. Negative. What course are we on? Holding course 270. Affirmative. I am pretty sure we are over the Gulf of Mexico. We didn't go far enough east. How long have we been on this course? About 45 minutes. I suggest we fly due east until we run out of gas. We have a better chance of being picked up close to shore. If we were near land, we should be able to see a light or something. Are you listening? We may just as well turn around and go east again.
Man How Able 3 to FT-28, do you read me? Man How Able 3 to FT-28, do you read me? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Man How Able 3. Man How Able 3, man. It looks like we are entering Whitewater. We are completely lost.
FT-28, this is Man How Able 3. Come in, please. We are reading you very weak. Come in, please.
At 6:37 p.m., the haunting silence of the last transmission from any member of Flight 19 echoed through the air. Yet the mystery refused to meet its end there. 2 PBM mariners were ordered to fly out in search for Flight 19. As the sun dipped below the horizon, they took off from NAS Banana River, now known as Patrick Air Force Base, at 7 p.m. Meanwhile, Point Everglades meticulously triangulated what they believed to be Flight 19's last position and urgently transmitted those coordinates to the mariners. The mariner with the call sign Trainer 49, fully manned with 13 men, radioed to Port Everglades at 7:27 p.m.
Man How Able 3. Man How Able 3, this is Trainer 49. We are approaching Flight 19's last assumed position. Over.
Roger.
This was the final transmission ever sent by Trainer 49. In the lore of the Bermuda Triangle, Trainer 49 simply vanished into thin air. Yet the reality of the situation is a little different. 2 vessels, the freighter SS Gaines Mill, bore witness to a fiery spectacle in the sky as a plane engulfed in flames crashed into the ocean. The captain immediately reported the position and sailed directly to the location, only to find a faint oil slick and nothing more. Adding to the mystery, the USS carrier Solomons reported the sudden disappearance of Trainer 49's blip from radar at the precise coordinates provided by the Gaines Mill. The cause of the explosion remains a haunting enigma, and despite search efforts, no trace of the plane or its occupants was ever found. This, my friends, is the most accurate story of Flight 19 that I am able to tell. I make no assumptions about what really happened out there nearly 80 years ago. I will leave that to you. I am simply presenting you with all the available facts. Perhaps they simply got lost and could not recover their position, or perhaps they got sucked into whatever makes the Bermuda Triangle so mysterious and are still out there trying to find their way home. If today's story intrigued you, then please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and stay tuned for next week's story. Until then, I wish you all the best.